Hello, and welcome back to 33 Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Michael Abney. And today I'm joined by Monica, founder and designer of Monica Leigh SVX, fashion design studio lecturer at Otis College of Art and Design, and an MA graduate student in sociology. Monica, welcome to 33 Conversations. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me and excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here too and share your story. When we talked earlier, it was just you were sitting at the intersection of a lot of stuff that was really relevant for today and your point of views. I'm really excited to dive into it and just share what I've noticed about your story so far about when you were sharing with me that your home was in the Eaton fire, it was destroyed. You're talking about that, how it impacted where you had been in your life and this change. I knew we had to sit down and have a conversation because yeah, I have a little bit of fashion background by helping somebody years ago in Los Angeles, and it's kind of like why I was there. I related to that, completely understand that industry. I'm sure that it has not changed a whole lot since I was been out there about the ins and outs of it, but it's kind of fickle. But you've been spent years inside of fashion design and production and teaching and now sociology. You know how to build, you knew how to make form, you knew how to hold details, and then the fire came and removed the physical evidence of that life. Yeah. What I hear now is not just grief. I hear clarity. I hear someone becoming more direct about what matters, more selective about what you create, less willing to give your energy to anything less that does not feel true for you. So I want to begin here and just share what transformation that you are in the middle of right now.
Really, everything around me physically is new. Everything is like everything you see, my background, my house, my clothes, my jewelry, everything is brand new and it's stepping into this aesthetic that I've always had, but now it's just clear on what I like, what I choose, and it's this transformation of not having what I so desperately miss. I miss all my things, but I'm also able to move forward and live life from an everyday point of view. I plan for the future, but I actually live in the here and now, and I think that's the biggest difference is that I just hold on to right now.
Wow. Um, what let's kind of paint a picture for folks that because we all have we see or we have the opportunity to see if you look like all of the tragedies and the events and that are happening all over the world, and we have these things just as markers, but then we move on from them within a week. There's a flood here, there's a fire there, there's an earthquake here, a volcano blowing up, and like all of the stuff, and yet you can't really hold on to that we keep fluidly moving through everything. So take us back to this time. Like, when was this? When was
Okay.
the Eaton fire? Just to kind of like refresh everybody as they're listening to this, because they'll have a reference to it, but they may not know how many years ago this was. Was this last year? Because I can't remember last week sometimes about the events of it, or yesterday, but I still have an awareness of it, but it loses its, and there's so much of it, it's hard to place any reverence to any one thing because there's so many things all happening at once. So you were there. I remember watching all of it and being horrified by it and like, oh my God, like so much loss of property, life, and just like the, the fire, it just has no boundaries. It just goes wherever it wants to go, but it got your house. What day was this? Take me back to that time.
So it was January 7th of 2025. Um, and on that day, it was just such a rapidly growing fire. the Santa Ana winds were coming through about 90 miles an hour or more, and so you could literally see the fire coming down, the mountainside, and so living in Altadena, right at the mountain, the foothills, and just going outside, in the early evening and just seeing it, it was just so visceral and so fast, and so my body almost became like a beacon where, I could feel the wind, feel how fast it was coming, and then see the fire literally coming down the mountain at a pace that you just become instinctive again of like, "Okay, I have 20 minutes," you know? And so getting everything in the car, which was really just me, my cats, my son, and my husband, and, and just driving away, and then yeah, and just not knowing like, "Oh, okay." No time to think about what to take or what to pack. When you retrospectively think about packing a car, you're thinking of geometry. Okay, this fits there, that fits. There's just no time for any of that but to get yourself and your loved ones out. And so then the next morning, waking up and not knowing if anything was there, I just my sister has an extra home on her property, sister and brother-in-law in outside of Riverside. And so waking up that next morning in her home, feeling safe, but feeling so estranged, like I don't know if I had anything. And then later on, the next morning after that, finding out and seeing images of complete devastation, like, just I have never seen that before, where, there was just nothing. Just the ground was flattened and the heat was so intense, it just left nothing but, like, fences and, things like that. And so then that feeling of, I have nothing. And being a visual artist, le you know,
Yeah.
things and not having anything to say, "This was me," or "This is me." And then I just started thinking from the basics again, like, okay, my business, I don't know if I can run it, but I'm also teaching at Otis College of Art and Design. I can wake up and go to that. I have that. Um, at that point in time, I hadn't started the master's program yet, but I knew I had that to go to. And so I just started to hold on to the smallest things, like, okay, I have my family, my son, my husband, my cats. My larger family is here to support me, and that's what I have.
Before you heard anything about like the possibility of a fire, I mean, sure, you live in California, there's a possibility of it all the time. I used to live there. And like, so it's sort of a norm. But then I just want like just a sentence or two about what you loved about life before this day. Like before this day, who were you in a sentence? Like what did you love? What was life like before this thing that just changed everything?
Uh,
This
Altadena was a quintessential town of peace and quiet and beauty, fresh air, sunlight. It was peaceful. It was my place to meditate.
center, right?
Yeah, it was my
And you love fashion, you love design, you love art. You allowed yourself to create. Creators are always attached to what we create. And that
yeah.
visual, it's like one and the same. And then this happens, and in 20 minutes, like you just like life was going in a different direction. You and your family and your car were all going in another direction.
Yes, survival. It's just an instinct, survival. No way to make sense of it, but to like literally, I have to save our lives. And it just comes down to a moment of no choices.
Yeah, I remember you said every physical manifestation of self and surroundings were gone. What did that mean to lose not just the things, but the actual evidence that there was a life there.
But it was so surreal, and it felt very scary, like, you know, I before January 7th, I was always running my business, learning, creating, but I had a certain aspect of myself that was shy, and I still have a humbleness, but that moment of realizing I had nothing was like, I have nothing physical to prove I'm me. And that was one of the scariest things as a person. Like, I have nothing, you know. How do I show people I'm an artist? How do I show people I'm creative? How do I prove it? I,
Yes.
right?
Without the stuff, who am I, right?
Yeah,
Without the examples or the proof of that I lived this life, that I left this mark, that I left this legacy is gone.
gone, totally gone. And I thought, wow, now I'm gonna have to really like, I don't know, get out there and be able to speak and talk and be comfortable and just start making things again. And it was but it was a frightening moment, but it didn't make me stop. It just was like, "Wow, I'm really scared, but I have to keep going."
You still knew that, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
still
even
knew
in the
that
middle of it. So when
even
everything was gone and you just had memories, was there any memory that got louder after the physical was gone? Was there a memory that popped up that was louder than the others?
2 things, pictures that I had, um you know, uh, cameras before digital technology, iPhones, it was just a camera. You take your roll of film to get, you know, um, uh, made into images, pictures, right? And um, I lost my photo albums. So I lost pictures of me as a baby, of me and my sisters together as kids, um, pictures from when my husband and I first met, that we actually developed, right? This word that we haven't used
Mhm.
in a long developing film. And then I had the second thing was I had portfolios from when I had first gone to LA Trade Tech in 1989 to 91, physical portfolios of my first sketches and illustrations and designs up through about maybe 2012. I had physical portfolios and they're all gone. So I have to remember what they look like. There's no way to show what they look like. They're just really gone. And I didn't take images of each page of those physical portfolios. So like my books of photographs, there's just no capture of those things.
Not on the physical.
Yeah, not physical, not and there's nothing digitally to show them because I didn't photograph them.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's huge fear because I can feel it, like, I can feel it, you know? Because really, like, what we're really talking about here is your identification with all of those things, you know? And then they're gone. We're unaware of those attachments while they're in play, obviously, but like when they're gone and that deeper, we can go back and we can rebuild the things, the clothes and the homes and the we can't get back the documents, but we can recreate whatever the objects were from memory. We do all that stuff. But then there's also this deeper rebuilding that's inside of us because all of that stuff is attached to our emotions. That's energy and emotion. So like even the question about who I am without that stuff, you know? What did that come up for you? What did the fire teach you between who you were and the surroundings that you were surrounded by? Like, did anything become of that awareness? Because you had a severing of it. It's not like you could go like to a fire recovery place or somewhere and get the smoke damage off of it. It was just like nothing left, right? So you had no physical choice. It was severed. But what beauty came out of that? There had to have been some sort of big beautiful thing come out of.
Yes, like in sociology, right? Learning different sociologists and their ideas of person and self and reflection, things naming us, even people talking to us, we reflect back and build, you know, but for me personally, that scary moment made me internalize so subconsciously to bring about even more confidence. And so I was just like, I had a friend who said, "Monica, you're still you, you're gonna be okay. You're still you. You had those things, but you're still you." And that sunk in and I thought, "Okay, I miss my things. It is scary, but I'm still me." So what came out of it, which was really wonderful, is I really am very clear and confident in who I am internally and externally. I feel really good about myself, my capabilities, my creativity, my intelligence, my just spirituality. I feel like I know who I am. I really know who I am. And so it's easy for me now,
Yeah.
right? I'm just
With
like,
without the stuff.
without the stuff, I'm
The
like, I
stuff.
know who I am. and, and
Yeah.
And even, like, rebuilding this physical atmosphere around me, it was easy, like, I like that, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. I don't need a bunch of
Yes.
stuff either.
Yes, because you have clarity. What is
Clear.
something that you chose not to bring forward or not to rebuild? Is there something that you chose not to rebuild? Now, I know obviously you just shared earlier at the beginning of the pod about there was a little part of you, I think you said a little part of me that was shy or something, or
Yes.
yes, introverted, I think it was the word you said.
Yeah.
But like, so is this the part you're talking about? This part died in the fire?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm humble, but I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna share my story. I'm me. I'm" it helped me, it can give back, but also, like, I value myself. I think that's the key, is like, I value myself. I've
And you used to
always
value the stuff.
I used to value this stuff and I used to think like, what do people value about me? I value me. And that's the difference. I've always liked me, but I didn't value myself the way I do now. Like I think that what I have to say has meaning in the world, and that I'm appreciated. And I appreciate myself, and I didn't feel that way before, and it makes me able to move about much more easily in community.
Wow. I know this was not overnight, but like, um, how long did this shift take you before you gained this type of clarity? Because like I had a loss too with my dad a couple of years ago when he passed away, and like as you're saying this now, like in this moment, I'm relating to. I feel more confident. Because there was so much stuff I was attached to and identified from our conversation, and his death was the fire. Like all of that stuff burnt up. Like without him
Yeah,
being alive, there was no way that it could stay active, and it was like a switch like when you and so like when you're saying that like the fire was this it's the experience. I really relate to that loss and that grief, but like, did you ever learn? I don't have this as one of my questions for day, but I want to know right now. So, did you ever know about grief? Like, did you experience grief? Like, I didn't. I don't think I knew what grief was, or I knew it was a word, and it was like people were sad. It was objectified outside of me, but like, you have to have went through a grieving process of what the experience that you went through, right?
yeah, yeah.
Did you know how to grieve before? I don't think anyone ever taught me how to grieve. Like, I don't. Is this
That
weird?
is
Like,
such a great question, 'cause,
yeah,
you I'm like, you know, I I've understood sadness or depression, right? But grief, like, I it was so scary that I just had to I'm like, "Okay, the only thing I can do is really live in it and accept it." but I have to keep moving every day. So I had these 2 things in tandem of feeling loss and feeling scared, but then holding on to each moment or each thread
Yeah,
that
thread.
gave
Yeah.
me, right? Like, okay, I'll just keep going. Every day is going to bring me something to hold on to and keep stepping forward. But
Yeah.
that understanding of extreme loss, yeah, therapy is great. And
It is great, but it's just such an odd thing to realize at 60 that you don't know how to grieve something. It's weird. Like I like you think you know everything, and then we have these experience where it's completely out of the blue. And I mean, I know how to survive and get through things, but this was different. It was like because it would come out of I didn't have any control over it. Like, you're driving down the road and that everything just falls apart and you're like, where is this coming from? Like you have no control over where these pieces kind of fly off of you through that
yeah,
process for me, relate to the confidence. I relate to where I played life in a certain way that no longer worked to play it that way anymore.
wow,
And inside of that came a new level. Now, it wasn't overnight. I still had to walk through all of that and walk through the uncomfortableness of starting something new. It's part of how it works. But it didn't stop me this time. And it was something about it was different. There was this um, I'm not quitting this time. There was no quitting. There was no quitting. I
yeah,
can't explain it, but it was like I always had a back door. I always had an out, and I didn't
yeah,
have an out anymore. Does that make sense?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Really, are like facing yourself, like,
Yes, in a new way because there was no middleman there. You didn't have your objects. I didn't have the object that created my entire world up to that point on some level. But then that resolved or that quit or that's no longer there, then what remains is us, like the authentic part about
yeah,
and then
like
what do I really want to do? Like what am I not what am I good at, but like what do I want to do? Man, and I had to I still sit with that. I still sit with that because I'm committed to the process, but it's not about the thing. It's about me. Like, how can I find that, what you just said, that value in us, even in a deeper level, not just the surface stuff. Like surface stuff doesn't work anymore. It's like what feels real and authentic to me because I'm so tired of the fakery, all of the illusionary parts of living here in this world universe that we all live in. That part of it, I just couldn't keep playing those outside games anymore. It
yeah,
was yeah.
that's
I just yeah,
sense
share
of
your like
self.
road as you go through because sociology is like that sort of drew you in after the fire, right? Like you knew about it, but then did you know about the sociology that you're moving into it before the fire and then the fire happened and it was like even more meaning about
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Share a little
yeah.
bit about that. Share a little bit about your new clarity that came out of keep following that path to see sociology and fashion and design. Those two things are,
Kind of
yeah.
different, but
Yeah.
do converge.
But there had to be a reason. There had to be a reason.
Yeah. So I had my bachelor's degree in sociology already. To be able to be a lecturer at Otis College of Art and Design, I needed a bachelor's degree, not just a fashion certificate and experience.
Okay.
So
Got it.
I just took a sociology class and I'm like, this is my calling. So after the fire though, there was a real just I think I've repeated this, but there's a real crystal clear understanding of just okay, wow, like you were saying, it's like, okay, I'm here. There's nothing in me. There's nothing else to name me or nothing else I can hold on to. It is just me now. And we go out and about in the world and we're like, okay, this is me in this situation and this is me in that situation. And there's like stuff in sociology that talks about that. But then me, myself, in my fashion world and studying sociology, it's like, but I wanna take this a step further. I can now be more me truly in all kinds of situations. I don't have to keep changing face, you know? I am just me now. And, like talking with friends, I might be a little bit more histrionic and excited. At Otis, I'm a little bit more like, okay, I'm a lecturer, but I'm still really me. And I feel excited to be set free and just confident. And so, um, I think that with sociology, after the fire occurred and I was uh, going to start to do all of my applications and things, it was a catalyst to get it done. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. And so, I didn't realize at that time how much trauma I was carrying. I just was like, "I've gotta do this and I've gotta do that," because I was really clear on what I wanted to do. So I went into rebuilding my business in studio and got into the master's program, and it was a lot to take on, but I'm really, really happy I did because it wasn't questioned in my mind. I was like, "Should I do this or not?" It was like, "No, I'm gonna do this." And so, even within such tremendous loss and such tremendous trauma to levels that still come out, my clarity with what I want to do is right in front of me. If I, and I don't question things in the sense that I don't like, should I do it? It's like, I'm going to do this. I know I'm gonna do it. Is it gonna be hard? Absolutely. But I know what I don't wanna do, so I don't even think about the things I don't wanna do anymore. It's like, I don't wanna do that.
Wow. And that's
Done.
where most of us spend all of our life and time and energy is then that don't and not ever getting that clarity. So thank you, Fire, for that. That isn't clarity so beyond empowering. It's got a force to it that like literally pulls you, not in a dragging way, but it just literally pulls you with excitement. I find myself doing things like the more I realize my love for what I'm doing with the podcast and how I love talking and crafting conversations and producing, like every time, even, you know, at 9 o'clock last night, I was preparing for this, but I was so excited about that. It wasn't something that I had to do. It was something that I got to do because when I
Yeah,
woke up, I was already going to be in that mindset and how my day would unfold. Like I'm starting to think beyond. I think a lot of times when tragedy happens or loss happens, there's a, a real myopic view of life that happens. Like it just gets really, really small. But as we start to relax in it and that new thing starts to bud out, it does expand and you
yeah.
get more comfortable in your space. So I feel that like, so you're having all of these things work for you now, right? Like your business is working now
Yeah.
and you're
It's growing and budding and different.
but not that scale, like, you know, not going to say the reference I want to think about, but like when you put just metal to the pedal, we'll call it like that. Metal to the pedal. So like that, go, 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 more, like that's not there anymore because that is such a huge part of the old life that we all got to experience because it was all about just expansion and, you know, but now it feels grounded and my work is so much clearer now. Do you have that experience of like, even though there's a lot of stuff and we're doing it, it doesn't feel like that pressure? I feel like I'm enjoying it now. What's your experience of what you're creating now?
Yes, I am enjoying it now. Absolutely. I am there with you in that. With my business now, with my collection, and with working with other people and developing for them. Um Even those clients that I have, they're different. It's not like fashion, let's make a t-shirt, let's mass produce it. And I want this t-shirt to be different. Okay. And that's wonderful business, financially, but I wanna do something that is truly has more meaning, and that naturally came, and that maybe that's a the new kind of energy that I'm putting out, or the way
Yeah,
I'm talking even, like, I'm so clear and confident, I'm not like, "Yeah, I'll do this," or, "Yeah, I'll do that." It's more like, "Here I am," and then people are like, "Oh, okay, she can do this for me." And
yeah,
so my business is a lot more organic and genuine, um, and it's just so much more enjoyable and exciting to wake up to. Like how you were preparing for today, I feel the same, and even our conversation today is like, this is so cool, and it's so aligned, and maybe that's the word is aligned and alignment, where
yes,
me
yes, and
right?
yeah, it's like yes. At the beginning, you have to choose, like micro choose, like what you allow back in. That's why I brought that up before. Like, what are you not allowing to come back in there? So it's like as that process happens, but as it gets more into the momentum phase of okay, this is just how life is now. I'm always choosing the thing that is going to be that I'm in alignment with, that feels good as the next best step. And sometimes you got to make a decision right there in that moment, but it's, and you can always choose differently if something arises out of it there's no like pressure to keep inside of a mistake that I used to do just to kind of, power it through it or get through it. Like I can't do that anymore. Like I'm in the moment of choosing the exact elements that I want in my day and becoming aware of the spaces that I have not done that previously in without making myself wrong.
Right.
Because that used to be a part of it too. That used to be a part of it
Yeah.
too. Like, damn it, why did you waste so many years doing X? And yet, no, I'm here. None of that. I see it now. Clarity, move.
Yeah. And it's really a wonderful, easy transition, not the pain and the trauma, but this transition of, "Oh, I can leave these other elements of my life behind." It might feel esoteric, but it is really structured and real, like, I don't I don't have to act this way anymore. I don't have to think that I just need to build a business to make, you know, like, millions of I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have to feel that stress to do things that
Yeah.
don't bring any joy.
Joy. Hello. Hello. I love it. No joy. Gotta go.
Right.
So
No
you're
meaning.
finishing up your master's in sociology,
Yeah.
right? And have I think we talked about maybe pursuing a PhD in research and maybe writing or publishing some stuff. Is that
Yeah,
still in the works?
absolutely. Yeah, it'll
So,
be a road, but yes.
yeah, but you're here for the whole ride. That's the whole point. What has this studying of sociology and what does it mean to you and in your own life right now? Like you're doing this learning this thing, but how is it impacting your life?
It is really, it's such heady stuff, right? When you're studying it, it's like, wow, deep dive into serious intellectualism. But now that the fire has occurred, I have uh become, you know, a genuine self, if you will, or a freed self. And it just
Mhm.
on an easier relevance of understanding that. I'm really able to take this heavy studying information, but make it a genuine, uh, have a capability to apply it to my life. It makes sense. It makes sense to me in my world of fashion and in just in community. I understand things better. I've always been a compassionate person, but I have an even deeper understanding of strife, pain, difficulty, challenges, biases in the world. And now I feel like I have felt with just becoming who I am today, with also of really embracing more of society, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Just really, um, being able to make the study of sociology much more natural in my life as opposed to kind of a lofty, heady kind of thing to study. It's now a part of my life that I've been able to, um, really not just apply, but to really live it from the inside out.
Yeah. All right, I know it's a scale, but I'm gonna like so scale 1 to 10. 10 being like extraordinarily grateful, best thing that ever happened to you in your entire life. 0, complete opposite. On a scale, where are you in the scale of 0 to 10 on being grateful that the fire happened with and you experienced it, that it burnt your house down, that you lost everything, that you went through this experience? Where are you at in that scale?
I would say that, um, so I'm gonna say a 10, but the reason is not that I wanted the fire to happen, but that there's no choice between yesterday and today. There's just no it's just it is what it is what it is.
Wow.
And I just have to be here today, and today my life is a 10. And that's just there's just it is what it is.
Wow. That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And this whole experience, I know we just touched on certain points of it, but I really feel that we painted a picture of the experience and like no matter what anybody is going through and all of the losses, I feel like a lot of us are experiencing loss and grief on an existential scale that's it's mind-boggling what we're all as a species processing right now. And before we go into that close, I want to bring it back to the people that are listening to this that may be going through their own experiences of rebuilding something that they chose not to lose, but it happened anyway. And for that person, what is one thing that you can let them or know that it's okay to return differently? Like, if that makes sense. Like they had something in their life, and what would you want them to know about when they rebuild their life, about the choices that they have, about what they bring into it?
That, speaking to that person directly, you are important. Your life is important. Your spirit is important. Your relevance to everybody around you is important. And that is really the most important thing. And then you can bring in things back into your life. You'll miss whatever it is that you lost, you will miss, but that you have to hold on to you and know how important you are.
Is that what you brought back into your own life? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you don't have that little part of you anymore that's like not so sure about things.
Right? Gone. That is gone.
Loved
Yeah.
her, but she had to go.
Right, right. She was great for a minute.
I what got you here can't get you there. Yeah. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. You're so
Pleasure.
welcome. Yeah. What I'm taking away from this conversation is that rebuilding is not only about putting our lives back together in a new way, the way we want to, it's about choosing and listening carefully enough to know what doesn't belong back in our new life. There's grief out here, there's the ash, and there's the memory. And there's also a woman becoming more exact with her own energy, her own work, and her own relationships and her own future. So, not because loss was easy, just because the truth became a whole lot clearer. So,
Yes.
thank you, Monica. I appreciate you sharing your story with all of our listeners today. Yay. I know it's going to make a huge difference.
You're welcome. So wonderful to be here.
Yes, I'm glad for the experience myself. Uh, Maybe today is the day we begin a new conversation with ourselves about where we're at with the loss that we're experiencing in our lives and the grief that we don't know how to pursue. There's no right way. There's just one conscious choice after the other. So think about it, feel it, and just go be. Go be with
Yes.
life, go be with people that you love, and meet somebody new, and have a new conversation. And we will see you all on the next one. Bye, everyone.